when it all comes together, comes at once, it's like you go through a bit of a shitstorm and it'll feel like, oh my God, this is a lot. And you're coming out the other side into the rainbow.
Yeah.
You've got to go through that.
I love what I do, but how can I make this sustainable and workable and have a life and be able to go on holiday and not be stressed about emails coming in and being able to enjoy time? I guess that was the change that made me kind of come through your door. Since then, I think just all the strategies and the systems that you've helped me put in place, really, you know, that's how you've done it, but let's kind of unpick it and make sure it's really clear. Everyone gets the same because there's a system behind it.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm available.
This week's interview, I'm going to share the incredible journey of stage to business with Emily Little, who runs a business with Jigsaw Arts and has 2 territories. The great thing about Emily's story is she is a young mum and has also built a phenomenal business out of COVID. Prior COVID, Emily was not an entrepreneur. So this is a great story of a new entrepreneur that has built fast. And the one thing that I share with you after having the pleasure of coaching Emily in our Gold Mentorship Program is she is an incredible implementer and she will get shit done. So I cannot wait for you to tune in. Enjoy. Right, today we have the amazing Emily, as you can hear from her amazing intro before listening to the podcast today, on Emily's background in the performing arts industry and how she started her Jigsaw business. And I always love, you'll hear me say this a lot, obviously through this podcast, we have our clients coming on the calls and sharing all their backgrounds and what they've learned with us at Gold Medal, but we'll also have people on the podcast that we've never coached as well and also have all set up some really good franchises and businesses in the children's activity world. But it's always my favourite when I have one of my clients on because there's nothing more special that when you've been coaching someone on Zoom for many months that you actually get to hug them and speak to them in person. So Emily, what a joy having you here today.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so nice to finally meet you.
And it's just like, we always say it's like, because you've worked together on Zoom for so long, it's just literally like, I've known you for ages.
Yeah. And been listening to your podcasts and been following you and then, finally meeting you. It's amazing.
I love it. I love it. So we're going to start with Emily's, obviously, her business is all performing arts. So we're going to start with, as I always very much like to start, because our businesses, especially, not always, but majority of the time, always very much start from our passion. So there often is, the reason you've started your business is because of your background, your passion as a child. So let's start there, Emily, in terms of your background in performing arts as a child and where it first began.
Yeah, so I mean, my mum, my dad, and all my grandparents were into like singing, amdram. You know, they did it all. They performed, they were part of choirs, they did the shows. That's actually how my mum and dad met, through like an amdram production.
Fantastic. Yeah,
hilarious.
So they were super obviously in performing arts.
Yeah, they loved it. I mean, they had like normal jobs, but they that's how they met. And I started dancing when I was 2, so I went to a dance school up in Yorkshire. She's still running today. She's incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Massive icon in my life, you know, like she drove a 4x4 and I always wanted to be her when I was older. Like,
isn't it funny? But you now see that a car is of that value. Now you'd be more like if someone's got 20 properties or like really big. But I used to think the same about my gym coaches. Like they've got 2 really nice cars. Yeah. 2 BMWs.
Yeah.
Like.
She drove, I don't even know what the car was. It was a black car and she used to rock up and she still is fabulous. So I started dancing at 2.
Funny.
Then I just did everything. So I did ballet, tap, modern, singing, dance. I played the flute, the guitar, the violin.
Oh, wow,
you name it.
Oh my gosh.
I tried it. Like I give everything a little bash.
Yeah.
Can't say I was brilliant at all of it.
Yeah.
Violin, not so good.
Yeah.
I think my mum was pleased when I put that down.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And just like loved it. Like did dance competitions. Traveled all over the country for lessons, and just my life was performing arts. You know, I did all the shows, did everything I could, up in Yorkshire. And then when I realised that I really wanted to like do it professionally, so I applied for theatre schools and conservatoires, and I got into one in Leeds when I was 17. So I went off and trained and did a musical theatre course for 3 years, which was amazing, brilliant, gorgeous.
What was the place called?
SLP in Leeds.
Okay, I've not heard of that one.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're brilliant. Again, still running today. Absolutely fabulous. Kind of call themselves like the power of the North, you know. Well, obviously, like all conservatoires, all the really big shiny ones are all down here, right?
Yeah.
And then, graduated and was like, right, I need to move to London then, like, let's get on a train to London. So I literally got on a train with one suitcase, and my auntie was living in Surrey, so I went and stayed on her sofa for 2 weeks. Which part of Surrey was it? Staines.
Oh my gosh, Staines.
Yeah.
I grew up in Twickenham. It's not far from Staines.
Yeah. So moved there and slept on her sofa.
Around here.
Like, stayed on a sofa for a couple of weeks, no job. Landed a job in a call centre just to make some money.
Just to get going,
And that was like, I moved down in the October, got a job the following week, then house shared beyond belief from then onwards, just kind of hopping around here, there and everywhere. And obviously the dream was to work in musical theatre, was to perform. And you know what? I did the odd bit here and there, but it's really tricky. It's a really difficult industry to be in. You know, like I did the odd panto, and I did a little show at Charing Cross in the off West End, and a few bits and bobs, but loved the highs, but the lows, obviously then going back to work in a call centre with other wannabe actors who are now all my amazing friends, but you know, it wasn't really the dream. And then I'd been in London maybe about 6 months, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I love working with kids. I've always loved working with kids. Let's go see what teaching's all about. Sounds like a good crack.
Yeah, it sounds like a good crack.
Yeah, went for a job interview with Jigsaw Performing Arts. Met Nikki, and she offered me like a cover job. So I then went for the next few weeks round all different branches. And then a job came up as a singing teacher in Balham.
I say, is that your strength in the performing arts, singing?
Teaching wise, I think, okay. yeah, that's my.
What about as a performer? What was your favourite?
Oh, I just love like characters, like comedy characters.
Yeah.
You know, like Calamity Jane. Like that was always a dream role. One day, just in my shower for now, but yeah. Oh yeah, so I took the job,
and then
singing teacher at Balham.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about Calamity Jane in my head. Yeah,
absolutely fell in love with the school. And I've never left Jigsaw Balham. So that was a million years ago, nearly 12 years ago. And in between, you know, we'd take a bit of a time off to go and do a little acting or gig or something, and then come back. And then in 2017, I decided I'd go and do my master's, because I was like, I love working with children. I was teaching music classes in SEN schools, and doing all that kind of gorgeous work, but felt like I couldn't really progress beyond that because no one was taking me seriously. Like, I had a musical theatre degree, like I was all sparkly and
What was the master's in?
So I did applied theatre at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama.
Yeah.
So all kind of about using the arts to benefit people. And loved it, fell in love with that kind of side of it and the academia side of, you know, writing and all that. Left that, took a job as a programme manager and impact development person with a singing charity, and then kind of did that for a bit. And then, so the original Jigsaw model was that it was a head office and all the schools belonged to the head office.
Yeah.
So Balham was a head office school, and they'd started franchising a couple of like new areas, and then the decision was made that they were going to sell all the head office schools and they were all going to become franchises. I mean, I'd never bought anything worth more than like £800.
Yeah.
I bought a Mac when I did my master's.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Nikki said to me, oh yeah, Balham's going up for sale. And I said, well, I want it. And she was like, okay.
Yeah,
I said, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
It's mine. And I did. And I
do you know, I absolutely love that.
I fell into it.
I love that because a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, we had your dear friend, Katie Hillcoat, and she basically, for our listeners, if you haven't watched this episode, she's obviously in Jigsaw franchise as well, and they've worked closely together, and that's how Emily came to us as well through Katie when we started working at Gold Medal. And her background, her story was very different, and it's so interesting, and that's why I love when we do these podcasts and interviewing, because everybody's story is different. Where Katie had no intention of buying a franchise, she went to just be like, fill a seat, and then she suddenly was like, hang on a minute, I could do it. But I loved how you were so sure of like, I'm buying this.
Yeah.
What do I need to do? You know?
It wasn't going to anyone else. It was like, I love this school. I'd been there like 6 years, and I'd progressed up to being like the manager of the school. So it just felt the right thing to do. And we'd been to, every year we have like a annual meeting, and I'd gone along to like the manager's part of it because the franchise had had a day the day before. And I'd gone home and I sat down with my partner and I said, oh, so I'm buying a business. And he was like, sorry, what?
Yeah.
okay, what does that mean? How much is that going to
But
cost?
he won't
What does
argue
that
with
look
you. I
like?
can tell you do. Once you've made your mind up, that's it, mate. That's what I'm doing.
That is what I'm doing. So yeah, that was the start of that kind of franchise journey. And I'll be honest, I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. The school was busy, but it's grown a lot since kind of I've taken it over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't have a clue. Just kind of walked into it and thought, it's not going to anyone else. It's got to be mine. I love these kids. I love the families.
Yeah, I love that. And it's such a natural progression.
Yeah.
So good.
And some of the kids that I was teaching at the point when I decided to buy it now work for me. So
fabulous. Yeah.
I mean,
so organic.
Yeah.
So organic.
Just so lovely.
Amazing. So did you have any working experience apart from Jigsaw? You've gone from performing.
So well, after my masters, I kind of worked within the arts industry. So
you had a little bit of work experience. You didn't just jump from study straight to that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd been kind of working in arts organisations, doing fundraising, event management, producing events and all that kind of stuff. And I love doing all that stuff. Yeah. I do love organisation and writing.
Amazing. And did you feel, obviously you were so certain that I'm buying this, did you ever have any concerns of like I can teach? Because I know that was always me of I was Katie the gymnast. I had all these achievements, but I couldn't run a business. Yeah. And so many people, and that's why obviously gold medal exists today. Yeah. But you think, well, I can run a business, not a problem. Yeah. I mean, you fail forward horrendously fast. But obviously you were so confident is like, I've been in this business, I can deliver this business. The general day, the classes, not a problem. I could do it with my eyes shut. Yeah. But the day-to-day running, what would you say were your early challenges in the first 6 to 12 months?
Honestly, I didn't even think about it when I bought it.
But that's good. Oh, okay, that's good. I love that. Yeah.
I just bought it. Yeah. And was like, I run it. I do a bit of the admin in the week.
Jump in, think after. Yeah.
Yeah, 100. That's totally me, unfortunately.
That's all me. I'm all about it. I'm like, I've got an idea. Let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow. Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge was I signed on the dotted line in February 2020. Yeah. And we all know what happened in March 2020. Yeah. So we hit COVID, and the business couldn't run. We couldn't run classes. So I kind of sat at home. The official paperwork came through a couple of days after we'd gone into lockdown. And I was sat signing. Yeah. But again, I didn't really know what I was signing up to at that point. No. Yeah. Really. Obviously, I believed in the brand. I believed in the ethos. I believed in the company. I loved what I was doing. I loved the school. But I didn't know what I was doing, opening a business bank account and setting up a limited.
You were naive, but that's the best part. Yeah, you have no clue, but that's because where you can always, the other switch is being so, and this is Andre, my partner, and this is why we work. He is detailed as anything. He's a creative director. Yeah, he's very detailed. Great. I'm so not, and he overthinks things so much, and I'm like, just get on with it. And you have to have an element as an entrepreneur of jump in, think after. Some of it might work that way. Like in my early days, totally some of the decisions I made were awful, and I should have thought about it a bit more. But then that is part of being an entrepreneur. If you overthink it, you never do it. So having that naivety was a great thing. Yeah, and I wish you wouldn't have done it.
No, definitely not. And my partner, he works.
How old are you at this point?
28.
You're about 28, yeah.
27, 20s, yeah. Something like that. Yeah. My partner, he works in the rail industry. He's like ex-military. He's an engineer, so he's got a good proper job, should we call it?
I always think it's a proper job.
He's got a proper job and, salary and stuff.
I'll do jazz hands is much more exciting.
I know, right? But obviously, thankfully, he kept his job during COVID, which meant it kept a roof over our heads and all that stuff. And we did come out of it quite well in terms of COVID because of the stamp duty and all that kind of stuff. We managed to buy a house out the other end of COVID. Awesome. So that was great.
Yeah. Big achievement.
Yeah. And so it all kind of just fell into place almost. Yeah. But yeah, the biggest challenge was definitely COVID. But then my school was the first one to reopen out of the Jigsaw franchise post-COVID. My school were quite chill.
I was going to say, was it? What was the requirements were, every area was different with the requirements and expectations.
So all my staff had a box with all different stuff in that they all had, and it was all disinfected, and they had to take it to their rooms. And we had to mark out all spaces on the floor.
It's mad, isn't it? When you think back now, and the crosses, it's mad.
Yeah. We invited customers back. We didn't expect everyone to. Yeah. So we kind of tried to finish the term that we'd left because of COVID, and then did a bit of a summer school thing, which was a bit bizarre. And then by the September, we actually reopened again fully properly. So we weren't caught that short.
Yeah.
But
it feels like that's, 2021, when I look at back, the gym's numbers and, basically 2020 and 2021 were your COVID years, because you still weren't fully. 2022, you were like, we're open forever now.
Yeah.
But I remember the disaffecting of the equipment after every kid had touched a mat. I was like, this is insane.
Taking the temperature when they walked in.
Come on,
I had like a little gun thing that I was like,
oh gosh, it feels like another life.
I know.
It's insane, isn't it? Gosh. So yeah, I mean, the good thing is, a bit like when I opened my gym, it was 2008.
Yeah.
I had no clue what a recession was. I don't know how it could affect. It didn't affect us because we had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
So we opened probably at the worst time, but I had no clue. So I was doing it all, and I generally think that's a really good life lesson, and one that will do you so well going through business and being a parent, to be honest, because it's like, don't overthink it. Don't wait for the right time, because there never is.
No.
Jump in. Like we just put our house on the market. And so many people are like, oh, we could have waited till January. And, it's like December. And why are we, I'm like, why? If people are looking in that area, they might be able to view it over the Christmas period. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? Just do it. Like, unless there's something in your schedule and you can't make it work, but just do what you can to just start small, just get something moving.
Yeah.
So what would you say, obviously your business has grown, through, you've had lots of things going on personally.
Yeah.
Obviously your gorgeous little pickle.
Yeah.
Your gorgeous little pickle. So talk about going into motherhood, and obviously I know you've had some not so positive personal challenges as well.
Yeah.
So talk through that as being quite early into business as well.
Yeah, it was really early, and we were actually already trying for a baby when I bought the business.
Okay.
So it took us 3 years to get little Elsie.
Yeah.
We didn't end up having to go down the IVF route and all of that, but
I love it, Elsie.
did end up I went on like a drugs trial thing.
Okay.
Anyway, but Elsie came out the other end 3 years later, so that's obviously all that matters.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. So that was a bit crazy because she was born in 2022, so only a couple of years into the business. So I'd still kind of just honestly flying by the seat of my pants. Like I didn't know what I was doing still, but kind of. I didn't see it as an issue. Like I was never too stressed about it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I realised that I actually probably needed to think about growing it as a business and what that looked like and how to do that and upskill myself and learn more. And then, so she was born in 2022, obviously didn't really take any time off. She came 3.5 weeks early. She came a few days before the big show.
Of course, yeah.
Yep, standard. So all the stuff was in our house. So the first person I rang was the girl that was cover managing me when I'd gone in, because I ended up having a C-section. She was breech. And we rang her from the hospital at like 7 in the morning. I said, I'm not going to be there on Saturday. You're going to have to, going to come and I don't know how we're going to get all the stuff to you. Yeah. So poor John, bless him, Elsie's like 5 days old, and he drove into Balham, gave all the stuff, and then sat in the car and went to sleep, and then drove it all back.
And let's just talk about that quickly, because Em's venues are not where she lives.
No.
So Emily lives in Maidstone.
Kent,
Maidstone, Kent way, and venues in southwest London.
Yeah.
So just let's quickly touch on the dynamics of that, because it is good. And obviously, as in Katie's story that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, some of her venues, one of her venues is very close to her and in her town, and some of them are not.
Yeah.
So just talk quickly upon the challenges of, well, how did you end up in Kent? Like, obviously, you worked in Balham.
Yeah, so at the time we were living in Bromley, so we were renting in Bromley.
Okay,
yeah, and I mean, I'd always worked at Balham, so I'd lived all over London.
Yeah.
And then we were renting in Bromley. And then when it came to buying a house, because we wanted a family, to buy in Bromley, we'd have got a 1-bed flat for what we paid. Whereas when we started looking slightly outside the M25, all of a sudden we've got
outside the M25.
We've got a 3-bedroom house with a big garden.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it felt like the right choice.
Yeah.
And obviously the business runs on a weekend. So Monday to Friday, I work from home, and then on the weekend I go in. So sometimes I do wish I was closer, because I'm like, it'd be great just to pop down, but I'm more than happy to make the journey in, so it doesn't matter too much. Yeah. Long term, we'd love to move back closer, but obviously house prices are
good luck.
It's insane.
It's insane.
So who knows if that'll ever happen. But,
yeah.
That's how that.
I genuinely think once you're out of London,
you're not.
And this was one of the big conversation we had because we were moving to Surrey.
Yeah,
that was a big conversation we had of, but we need the more space now.
Yeah,
and we love where we are, but it just London, you can't get what you want for your money.
No, not at all.
Bigger garden, driveway. Well, I think once you're out, you're out.
Yeah. I mean, need to be making a lot to move back, but you never know.
You never know.
Things happen.
20 schools later, we're fine.
Yeah, 20. I don't
know. So yeah, little Bubba Elsie was born.
Yeah.
Obviously the challenge was navigating that, and kudos to yourself, because you could have been like, stuff it, cancel the show. Yeah. But your team members, I do sometimes think that's when you really see who shines.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really to be like, okay, show me what you're worth.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can comfort them so much, you can hold their hand, you can nurture them till the cows come home.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, look, I need you now.
Yeah.
Step it up, and you will see who will fly and who won't.
Yeah.
It can be a really good testing.
I think it was the first time as well that I realised that it could potentially, I didn't need to be there all the time. And then that kind of started that thread in my head of what does that look like in the future. Obviously I love being there on a Saturday. Like I genuinely do love it. Don't know when I'll ever leave, but yeah, it was kind of, that was the start really. And I did take some time off the Saturdays and put a fab team in, of which many of them are still there. And then, kind of conversations were always going on about growing, but it didn't seem right because Elsie was only a squidge and she wasn't a good sleeper and all that wonderfulness. And I just wanted to enjoy her. I didn't want to throw my brain into something else. And then beginning of last year, I was like, do you know what? I think it's time to let's do another school or two. Let's see what the crack is. Yeah. So I started looking, but obviously whilst trying to be a mum and run the business I already had, which was doing really well for a single school, I just kind of was doing it when I had time, which obviously, as we know, you don't really have much time. And then come September, unfortunately, my partner John was diagnosed with cancer, which obviously was really tricky. But he had a lot of time off work.
With a new child as well. That's a lot to deal with.
He had a lot of time off work, which kind of afforded me time. And the kind of person that I am, rather than just sitting and accepting, I kind of put my head into work and really started to be like, okay, so if I can use this time, what could I do? So that was when really looking for a second venue. And I mean, at one point I was planning on opening 2 venues at the same time, but just settled.
Take a deep breath.
Took a deep breath and just went with.
But also, that's your coping mechanism, and I think I'd be exactly the same. You'd be like, what can I control? Yeah, like he's getting the treatment he needs. Yeah, we're dealing with it as a family, but I can't mope around. No, I need to do what I can control. Yeah, because when he recovers, we need this. So he's all fully recovered.
Yeah,
now,
he's all good. Yeah. So he had a couple of big surgeries early on this year, and then he's out the other side, so he's just being monitored now at the minute.
Fantastic. Okay.
My mum also got a slightly scary diagnosis at the same time, but thankfully that was all. It kind of was a bit of a poo storm, shall we say? Yeah. But it did kind of
things
all resolve.
Things always happen at once. Things come at once, and you're like, hit me hard, hit me again, and you're like, Jesus Christ, how much more can I cope with? Yeah.
So we did kind of become slightly recluse, but that gave me time to work on the business and see what the opportunities were. And then scroll forward to September, I launched a second school in Streatham.
Fantastic.
Which was amazing. The most stress in my life. And obviously I started with you in the August. Yeah. So it was kind of like, why am I doing both of these things at the same time? Because the workload felt insane.
Yeah, I remember us having those conversations. I was like, it's just like we said about when it all comes together, comes at once. It's like you go through a bit of a shitstorm and it'll feel like, oh my God, this is a lot. And you're coming out the other side into the rainbow. Yeah. You've got to go through that. But you could have been like, I'm just going to open the venues first and we'll start together in 6 months' time. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's that thing of like, the coaching will help you open the second venue. Because like we say, just what it takes to do one venue it's going to be the same for 2 or 3. And then the systems will change again when you do 7 or 8 or whatever it looks like. It's the same when people come to us and they say, I haven't got the money yet. I'm like, that's why you need to start. Yeah. Because how else you need the skills. It's like to get from A to B, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. So the same thing. And so many people I speak to, they're like, it's not the right time, just had a baby, just got married, hundreds of millions of shows going on, moving house, whatever the case may be. There's never a perfect scenario.
No, not at all. No. Yeah. But it was the right time because obviously Jigsaw provides such a great foundation and all that kind of wonderful stuff to build off. But I was running like, I mean, you said, talk about the power of one. So I was doing it all by myself without kind of backup systems on my end. So it was me sat at home doing everything, supported by a network. But then I didn't, you know, I had spreadsheets left, right and centre, but there wasn't necessarily a rhyme or reason. I understood them just, but everything was like here, there and everywhere. Nothing really made sense. And I knew that when I opened the second venue, I didn't want to be in it, because I knew that if I went and started Streatham and I was the manager, I'd fall in love with it. I'd fall in love with the kids and I'd never leave.
And I'll never leave.
And I didn't want that. Like
20 years later, I'm still there.
Yeah. And obviously I love the kids and I still go in and visit, but I wanted to set it up straight away and bring someone in to kind of build that and let them fly and let them flourish. And through working with you for that literally a couple of months before it launched, I was able to do that, and the school launched without me. I was there on the first 2 weeks. I went back on the last week. Otherwise, I wasn't there. You know, it's managed and run by my lovely Chloe, who's just a legend. And I'm now kind of more business owner rather than like everything that I do at Ballon, because I love it and I know the kids inside out and know their families and know them for years and years. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a crazy few months.
It's
put
really
it that
crazy.
way.
It's crazy. So, what would you say? How does the business look differently now? Obviously, you're 5 years in.
Yeah.
What would you say, how you, through obviously what we've done together at Gold Medal, how would you say you run and you think about your business differently now than you would have done a few years back?
I think definitely having more time, like creating the time for myself.
Nice.
I think obviously with John's diagnosis
as a mummy as well, and you've had a few life changes.
It really made me go, what do I actually want? Like, I love what I do, but how can I make this sustainable and workable and have a life and be able to go on holiday and not be stressed about
so important,
emails coming in and being able to enjoy time, because let's be honest, you never know how much time you've got. I guess that was the change that made me kind of come through your door. And then since then, I think just all the strategies and all the systems that you've helped me put in place, really, you know, kind of going, oh, that's how you've done it, but let's kind of unpick it and make sure it's really clear. Like, this is what happens when they inquire and what happens after that and where do they go? Because I did have a journey with customers, but it was a bit like, if I could answer the phone at that time, or whereas now everyone gets the same because there's a system behind it. Yeah. Not just because I'm available, if you see what I mean.
Exactly. And it's also, and that's what, you know, one of the biggest things, I said, the shifts we hear from clients and the difference of people who have coaching and don't. It's the other set of eyeballs on your business. Yeah. And I'm the same with, I have mentors and work with mentors for over 20 years in business. People look, and I think all my businesses are as systemized as they possibly can get. Believe me, I have other sets of eyeballs and go, change that, do that. You need that. The outside eyes, the outside people coming in. Yeah. And that's where it's at its most powerful. So if you started, like, let's say your business model can do this, which is great. Like, if you started a new venue completely again, what would you do differently to as what you did 5 years ago?
Well, I guess when I bought 5 years ago, it was an already existing business. So the challenges of that were very different to like when I started Streatham in September. I've learned a lot through launching in September. Yeah. Put it that way. Yeah.
So let's just dig into that a bit more, then, because I think that's really, because we have so many people in the franchise world in our network. Let's separate the differences of the challenges of an existing school to starting one completely off the ground, because so many people are often have your story where they're like, I worked in it and then I bought it. Yeah. But it's so different when you've got an existing business to then starting a brand new one. So
I didn't quite realise how madly different it would be.
Yeah. Because you do generally think, well, I've done this for years. Yeah. I can do that. Just like we said, well, you're a performer and I was Katie the gymnast. It should be quite easy, shouldn't it?
Yeah. But I can get kids in the door. I can make them stay. What are you on about?
But you're talking from an established business to one that you like, I haven't even got one child yet. Yeah. So break down the biggest things that you were like, wow, I did not know how hard this would be.
Well, I guess when you buy an existing business, obviously it's what seems at the time a bigger chunk to pay, because you're paying like the goodwill of a company.
Yeah. You're like, really? How much?
Yeah. But in the long run, obviously, there's massive benefits, because straight away you're already turning over a certain amount of money and able to draw something out, whether it's a lot or a little. But with Streatham, kind of opening, I think I opened the bookings in July, And then like the first booking came in and then it went quiet for like 3 weeks. And it's like, I've spent
Crickets.
thousands of pounds
Yeah.
and I don't, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, where are all these people? And I remember you saying when I started with you, and also Jigsaw as well, saying once you get open and people know about you, it does change.
Yeah.
But having those conversations with yourself at 2 o'clock in the morning when you sat there worrying, have I spent the right money in the right places? And am I investing enough? That was kind of the question I kept asking myself was, I've allotted a certain amount, I've budgeted a certain amount to put towards this. Is this going to be enough to get me to where I want to be?
Yeah.
Do I need to spend more? Am I putting it in the right pots? But I guess the scary thing is that you don't actually ever really know if you've put it in the right pots, because you can market and market and market, but you don't always know where they've come from.
Know. And just touching on that end, before we were recording today, I was sharing some experience of my journey yesterday, and we're setting up a new gym. And I always say this is so powerful of what we offer at Gold Medal, because I'm in the trenches with you guys. You know, I'm going through it. I'm not done a business 20 years ago and I'm out of it. I'm still building gyms. And yesterday we were in a new gym setup. And we've invested over £30,000 into this venue. Now it looks amazing, but I still, 18 years down the line, still have this feeling of, is it the right one? Is it going to work?
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, the great thing is if it doesn't, I pull the equipment out and we put it somewhere else. It's not a big issue, but the setup costs are big. And I know within 6 months we'd have claimed that all back, but hopefully, again, it's the model. I know it works, but sometimes you can get, with all the research we've done, it should be fine in the area, but you just never know. No. That nervousness never goes away. But then also that nervousness is really good to keep you diligent and to ensure you're at top of your game and to not relax too much and be like, I'll be fine, just open 5 venues over there, 50 grand each. I know it'll be fine. It's good to have that bit of nervousness.
There was a lot of nerves. Yeah, but obviously within the network, and that's the great thing, is that within the network there are lots of people that have done it recently or have loads of experience or maybe did it 10 years ago or whatever. So being able to be like, right, what worked for you 10 years ago? Right, what worked for you 6 months ago? And going, okay, that's what you did 10 years ago is not relevant these days. You know, boosting a post on Instagram is not going to get you a customer. It's just not how it works anymore.
Sorry, leads are no longer 20p. Sorry about that, guys.
You now need to be spending a lot more than that.
They were the days. I remember when I started ads many years. Well, I think we've been running ads 5-6 years consistently. I remember those 20-30p days. I mean, you'd get a lead, you'd put it out there, you get one of those, and that's and funny, if I looked at our leads, as we've obviously done all the planning for 2025, and I looked at even leads from last year, and was like, our average spend was about £7 a lead. It's been 10 this year. Oh wow! But I mean, everything does go. It's all going up in different notes. So there we go. From one year to the next.
I know, it's madness. But I think in terms of if I was to do another one, which is the plan at some point. I'm not quite sure when, but that is the plan, to go again at some point. Take everything that I learned from doing Streatham. And obviously I'll have more systems in place.
Put more time into planning and the marketing before launching?
Probably. I think it was more of I did jump because the right venue came up at the right time. And I didn't want to miss out, because obviously in Southwest London there's every children's activity you could ever imagine. You know, on a Saturday morning you can find everything. The most random activities, you could probably find it on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. So I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity. So it almost felt like it was, well, I've got to do it now. I've not really got a choice. It's now or never. And I was exploring another venue actually, and that all fell through for the right reasons. And the venue that I was supposed to be going into was a private school, and actually a couple of weeks after I pulled out of the venue, they were shut down because it's a private school and they couldn't afford to run anymore. And then the other venue I had my eyes on, a competitor's gone in there, and so they'd taken it as well. So the 2 venues that I'd found in another good area, they've gone. Because I didn't jump quick enough.
You have to jump,
So I'm so pleased that I did jump with Streatham. And obviously it's so close to the Balham school. And Balham is a busy school with lots of kids.
It's a no-brainer. Like the areas you're in, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, why not? And, you know, I guess there was a little bit of me that thought maybe some of the kids on our waiting list at Balham might come to our Sunday school, and that didn't happen, which is fair dues, because people want Saturday mornings. It's prime time, right?
It really is.
But you know, we found other new customers that we'd never spoken to before, and now they can do performing arts as well as football on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So actually they can now, we're reaching new audiences, which is even, you know, new kids and new families, which is amazing. All within the same area. So yeah.
Incredible. And yeah, like with Southwest London, and these rules will bend depending where you are. If you're in a small village, your reach is going to be bigger. Because they can travel 20 minutes down the road, but in Southwest London you're like 3 minutes that you're going to hit traffic.
Yeah.
So these, you know, with the radius and things, all these sort of things change from area to area, so you just have to go. But would you like, what does the future look like for you? Obviously 5 years in now, 2 venues. I know you want to open another. I know we're planning and we're talking about this next one.
Yeah.
But do you see to have like 5, 6 schools, 10 schools?
I would very much like to,
what would the growth look like
make sure the schools are obviously well established before going on to the next one. So, you know, Streatham opened with just under 50. We're going into the second term with just over 60 at the minute, but obviously we've still got a few weeks. I'd love to be on 100 for next term, but we'll see.
I think you could do 80.
Yeah.
I think you can get to 80.
Yeah.
And then the next term do, you know, you aim for like 130.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see where we get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Let's
see what happens.
Yeah,
you never know.
Amazing.
Aim high.
But the main thing is, I'm really pleased you said that. It's because I used to think it was like grow. Like, you know, but I just open a new school, open a new venue, no problem. Open another school over here, open another class, open another village hall. And there's just as much power in taking steps back and refining.
Yeah.
And I said, this is what we've done as a brand over the last 5 years coming out of COVID. We refined, we worked on the ones we have, refined, got me completely out of the business. And then they were ready to do the next one, you know.
Yeah.
So there's just as much power in staying still a little bit.
Yeah.
And refining all your processes, which is obviously what we're doing together, ready for the next leap.
Yeah, I wanted Balham to be as big as it could be before I kind of went into the second venue.
Yeah.
And then, kind of similar before the next one. But again, opportunities might come up before then. So
who knows?
It's about jumping at the right time. But equally, I do want to protect my own time and my family and all that kind of stuff, and make sure I keep that life balance. I'd love 5, 6 schools.
Which you would,
you know,
if we continue growing like we're doing with the systems and processes, you will build that in.
Yeah.
As you grow.
Yeah.
And it's really great that we've done this now before you grow.
Yeah.
Because I said, I work with people who have come to me when they're so exhausted and got schools everywhere and classes everywhere and they can't manage it.
Yeah.
And we're like backpedaling.
Yeah.
So it's good to build with strong foundations from the start.
Yeah, you know? Get the schools going with the systems and
yeah.
Really
important. So what would you say, anyone who's looking at gold medal and thinking, is this the right mentorship for me? Am I ready? Do I have the time for it? What would your best advice?
Just do it.
Just not sponsored by Nike, just so that.
I am not a person, like have always been the kind of person that if something's not working or something's not right, I'll quit, I'll leave, and I'll find something that seems right and run with it and see how it goes. And that's kind of what I did with you, to be honest. You know, I'd been following, I'd been listening, I was,
and you were highly recommended by Katie.
Highly recommended. And then we jumped on a call, and I think about 5 minutes in, I was like, boom, I'm into this. Have my money, let's go. Because it's the right thing for me to do. There's never enough time. There isn't.
Yeah.
And I would say that the last couple of months with launching a new school and obviously implementing all the amazing things that we're learning from you, it's been intense. It has been intense. But actually now, only a few months later, I can already see the difference.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm planning holidays for next year and planning summer camps to run without me and camps and stuff to happen without me having to be involved in everything. And it just feels so good.
So good, yeah. And
so
you hit it nail on the head there. It's like you have to put in, we get that question quite a lot, do I have the time for this? I'm like, well, you don't have the time not to.
Yeah.
Time and financials are always the biggest one. I'm like, both of those are the reason why you need to jump in.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't got the time, you're never going to create, if you don't have the knowledge, you're never going to create the time to be out of the business or to have the time to grow it.
Yeah.
You'll still have no time this time next year. And fun enough, being at the end of the year as we're recording this, we had someone come to us last week, said, I've been watching a year. I had a chat with them a year ago and they said, I don't have the time. And they come back to us and said, I'm ready because I still don't have the time.
Yeah.
So you can always use that. But I think, you just have to, like any opportunity, and with procrastinating, new venues, whether it's mentorship, new staff, new venues, you've just got to jump in and run.
Give it a bash.
Otherwise, time waits for no one, as we know. I still can't believe we're at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that if I'd have launched the Streatham School without kind of working on the stuff that I do and delegating and organising all of that, it would have been triple the workload, because the workload up to launch was obviously intense and heavy. But then all of a sudden, once we launched and I was sharing the load with someone else, like I wouldn't be feeling so chill right now had I not done all that work. Whilst it was intense, it's actually probably made the intenseness a shorter time period than what it would have been. No regrets.
Yeah, absolutely. And also you've pushed through as well. Like I've seen you, there are times where, I mean, by the way, just to let you know, Em loves tech. She's great at tech. She doesn't, she's not one to be like, oh my God, don't do this. She's put so many back end things together herself in the business. Not everybody has that strength. So you lean into your strengths. But what I see so many people do is they will start something, go, no, it's too hard, I can't do it, I'm not doing it. And then they're like, oh, do you know what I see? It's a bit like, when you have a new teacher in the class.
Yeah.
And you're like, stuff it, I might as well do it myself. What's the point? They're rubbish. But you're not getting anything back every time you do that. And it's the same with growing your business in all angles. You might hit a wall with tech or building a new system and think, stuff it, just go back to the spreadsheet, it's easier. Yeah. But you're never getting anywhere.
No.
And you'll never buy back any more time, and you'll still be as frustrated 12 months on.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So amazing. Well, I can't wait to see the future for you, Em, of what it's going to be. I know you're going to build some incredible more franchise schools, and with the support of your incredible network. And it's been an honour having you on today's show with us.
Thank you.
But also I adore working with you as well. It's been so nice.
It's been
great. One thing we always look for in clients is, we always say, we're run 100%. If you give us 100%, we'll give you 120. But you have to be with us. You have to implement. The faster you work, the faster we can work. And you are an epitome of that. Because I'm like, have you done it? Yeah, I've done it, and I've done these other things. Great, let's move on.
Yeah.
You're a fast implementer. So if you want fast paced and you want to grow fast, then Gold Medal can definitely give you those skills and are the company to work with if you're looking for someone to really help you implement and hold your hand at the same time. So thank you so much, Em. I loved that. That was awesome.
Yeah, great.